What's going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, and we're going to be in this video today talking about an upcoming event that could potentially be very, very big for the CS investing scene, or just a way that you could potentially make some money as well. And I want to talk about maybe some of the different strategies and techniques that you could potentially use, or at least some of my ideas for how you could best use this hype or best use this event in the CS2 markets, because I think it is an interesting discussion point that I've heard a lot of people talking about over the past couple months, and I think it's really going to start picking up over the next couple months as well. And of course, this involves Tai Lu stickers, because today we are talking about the Chinese New Year. Now, I do think this is a little bit silly, maybe a little bit crazy, maybe it's a little bit like of an off-the-wall idea, you know, people talking about how the Chinese New Year is coming up, and this is supposed to be the year of the dragon, or whatever. So people are going to be buying up Tai Lu stickers because they're going to be going to the moon. Now, again, I think that is a little bit ridiculous, and you know, like, why would the Chinese New Year necessarily increase the value of CS2 stickers or anything like that? But you also have to understand, when you look back over the past couple months, and again, even longer than I've been around, the past couple years of the CS2 markets, obviously things have gone up for more ridiculous reasons, but also one of the things in the market is that, like, if a bunch of people believe something is going to happen or something could potentially happen, that can move the markets as well. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to last, or you know, that Tai Lu stickers are going to go to the moon and stay up there for years and years and years, but you could potentially take advantage of this hype, or take advantage of this expected hype or expected rise, like I said, and maybe make some money off that as well. I don't know, but also just want you guys to be aware of where these timelines are going to be, because even if you aren't trying to invest or like, you know, trade in the short term or whatever to maybe take advantage of this Chinese New Year hype or whatever, you might just be somebody that owns Tai Lu stickers or is considering buying Tai Lu stickers anyway, and you might want to know what's going on or what other people in the market are at least talking about. My cat is about to knock over everything on my desk. Because this could obviously affect the price of some of your investments or just some of the stickers you hold and own, and maybe there might be good times to buy and sell different things. So this Chinese New Year is set to start. This is one thing. I don't even think a lot of people know exactly when it's supposed to happen. This Chinese New Year is set to start on February 10th of 2024. Now, to my understanding, the Chinese New Year starts on a different day every year, but it's not like January 1st of 2024. So some people, I think, are already going to be way off trying to buy stuff just for 2024. No, this starts in like early to mid February. I believe it ends around like the end of January in 2025. So obviously it's a whole year, but I do think a lot of the hype and excitement, maybe we see a gradual increase in stuff like Tai Lu stuff over the course of the year. I don't think that's likely to happen. I think a lot of the hype and excitement around the Chinese New Year, at least as the CS2 markets go, is going to kind of fade out. She's literally just doing like laps around my desk. I push her down, she jumps back up. I don't know what's going on. But again, I do think much of the hype and excitement is going to come around the start of the Chinese New Year. So you do need to start out by knowing this is February 10th of 2024. Now, if we try to make sense of this, you know, when is going to be maybe a good time to buy, a good time to sell, or whatever. If we think of recent events like the CS2 release or even the CS2 hype, when everyone thought, oh, CS2 hype, CS2 release is going to be this awesome thing. I'm going to sell all my stuff after the CS2 release because CS2 skins and stickers and knives and guns and everything and gloves are going to go to the moon, and I'm going to sell at these elevated prices. Well, what happened? Prices went up way before the release of CS2, and then when CS2 release happened and people realized, oh, like, this isn't exactly what we thought it was going to be, the prices crashed. And I think something similar could happen with Tai Lu stickers for the Chinese New Year. I think a lot of people are potentially going to buy it leading up to the Chinese New Year, and I think right before the start of the Chinese New Year, we could even see a significant spike in these stickers. But I think after the Chinese New Year starts and comes and goes, that people are going to be like, you know, this actually really isn't that big of a deal. And hey, the Chinese New Year kicking off doesn't really increase the value or the demand or anything to do with these Tai Lu stickers, except, you know, an artificial event in the short term. So I don't think the play is to hold Tai Lu stickers into the Chinese New Year. I think the play might be to buy Tai Lu stickers like right about now, which again, we're 3 months away from the Chinese New Year kicking off. And then if there is any kind of crazy run up in January, in February, maybe it's freaking February 9th, maybe it's February 10th where we see some crazy spike or some crazy run up, that could be the time to sell off. So that's part of why I wanted to make this video now, because I think it could be an interesting time to, if you do want to try and trade this, it could be an interesting time to start buying up some stuff now. Now, I also say this because a lot of me thinks that Tai Lu stickers are just good investments in general. You know, if this was some junk item that I didn't think had a good future, or was just a terrible item or investment in the first place or whatever, that would be a whole different thing. But at the end of the day, I think this could be potentially worth attempting, because at the end of the day, if you end up just buying some good Tyloo stickers and there isn't any hype or craziness or price spike generated from the Chinese New Year, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to be holding some of the good Tyloo stickers, because I think Tyloo is a cool logo from a popular Chinese team. It's a red sticker. They have some good looking stickers. So at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to be holding junk even if this thing doesn't take off. You could still end up with some really, really good stickers and really good investments. I do own, not a ton, but I own a couple Tyloo stickers already. I have a couple $100 in Tyloo Stockholm hollows, and I have like a couple Tyloo Stockholm foils as well. So overall, just a couple $100. It's not like a huge part of my portfolio. It's not like I have a huge investment. I know people are gonna be like, oh, pump and dump, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I have a couple $100. If they have some crazy spike during the Chinese New Year, yeah, I might sell them off. If not, I'm gonna hold them for the decent medium to long term, because I think Stockholm stickers are good and I think Tyloo stickers are good. But I did want to talk about what are maybe some of the Tyloo stickers to take a look at, and what I think some of might be the good ones. Obviously, if you're looking on the cheaper end, I really wouldn't go for a lot of papers, especially a lot of these papers with huge high supplies and stuff like that. But the first cheap sticker that could potentially be interesting is obviously the Tyloo Hollow from RMR. Now, again, this is another one with a huge supply, but it is at least one of the better looking RMR stickers, and I think RMR stickers just got a big buff in the most recent patch. Again, they could get changed again, they could get nerfed, who knows? Valve is changing things on like a weekly basis at this point, but I do think this is one of the better looking RMR stickers. It's like $1.70, $1.80 right now, so it is relatively cheap. You could scoop up a lot of these for, like if you had like $100 or $50 or whatever, you could actually get into a decent amount of these. It'd be overall low risk for a small investment. I don't think this is the best. I think you'd be better off buying, rather than buying 50 RMRs for $50, I think you'd be better off trying to buy, like some of the more expensive stickers, but whatever. Some people like buying a bunch of cheap stuff. I think the Tyloo RMR could be one that sees a nice little price rise, and obviously it's one that the price could easily be moved with an event like the Chinese New Year or whatever. But yeah, over the past month, this thing was like $1.85 to $1.77. It's kind of been up and down. It seems like the prices are just kind of all over the place. It's so annoying. It seems like the prices are just kind of all over the place, but who knows? I think the Tyloo Hollow from RMR is an okay cheap option. That is one that I would potentially be looking at. You have the paper from Boston, where if I was going to get a paper, I would potentially look at the Boston, because I do think the Boston stickers look pretty good. It doesn't have a huge supply, and it's still relatively cheap. I think the Hollow from Berlin could potentially be okay. And then obviously some of my favorites from the whole Tyloo collection are going to be stuff like London is maybe okay too. But obviously I like the Stockholm foil. We can look at the London Hollow. I like the Stockholm Hollow, and the Boston Hollow is going to be one of my favorites. So we'll run through these real quick. I think another cheap option is the Boston paper. It's like $7 right now. If we look at the lifetime graph for this thing, it's had some ups and downs, but recently it's actually been doing pretty okay. This thing was like $3 a year ago in November, and obviously now it's up to like where it is right now at about $8. So it's performed pretty well. I could see this one doing okay. I think the Boston bordered stickers do look pretty good. I think the Tyloo Boston looks good overall. Again, I don't love papers. This wouldn't be my first choice or anything, but if you're on a budget or looking for a cheaper option, the Tyloo Boston paper is one of the cheaper ones available. I don't really love the Berlin with the green background, but again, it's another relatively cheap one. This one's like $2. Obviously, I think it's cheap for a reason. If we look at the lifetime graph, it had just kind of went down and down and down, but recently it's doing okay. This thing was, 50 cents in January of 2022. And since then, it's up to like $2. So it's been doing okay. I don't know. I don't love the Berlin background, but again, it's cheap for a reason. If you're looking for cheap options, it's okay. Then we start getting into the Stockholm stuff, which I actually think is really, really good. The Stockholm borderless stickers, the foil looks really cool. This one, again, I do own like a couple of these. I think I might own like 2 or 3. So again, not a ton, but maybe I have like $100 in these total. And lifetime, the sticker has done quite well. Even since this year, like back in May, it went all the way down to $12, and now it's up to like $40. These have been doing good. I could see these having a big run up for this Chinese New Year craze or whatever. I think the London Hollow is another okay option. I think obviously the Stockholm Hollow is maybe one of the best options. And then if you're looking for higher end stuff, or you have a little bit more money, you're looking to go for something crazy, I love the Tyloo Boston Hollows. I think these look so good. The foils are kind of probably too expensive and too illiquid, a little bit crazy, but the Boston Hollows at least have a somewhat reasonable price at 100, $200, something like that. Obviously, if you get it on Buff or something, you can probably get it for a little bit cheaper, and at least have some kind of liquidity where you can maybe sell out of it as well. So overall, I don't know. If there is some big spike come January of 2024 or February of 2024, I would probably be looking to sell. I don't think this is going to be some huge elongated gain where Tyloos just go crazy throughout all of 2024. But again, I do think that Tyloo stickers overall are a really good investment. So I don't think holding them is necessarily going to be a bad idea. But if you did want to buy something now, maybe expecting some kind of big run over the next couple months, I think it could be interesting. This is a big event. Obviously, there's a lot of Chinese money in the CS markets. There's a lot of Chinese investors. There's a lot of people who are going to be excited for the Chinese New Year. But again, just like we saw with the CS2 release, when there's a lot of hype and excitement surrounding an idea, and if it's everyone's idea to sell these things after the Chinese New Year boom, you want to sell before that, otherwise you're going to get caught, probably in some kind of big crash. But I don't know. There's a lot of good-looking Tyloo stickers. I think they're cool. I think they're a good investment in general. And on top of it, you have this Chinese New Year stuff coming up, so you might want to keep an eye on it. Maybe you want to buy now. I don't know. This is just an idea. But that's pretty much every video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.